Hey, so I want to talk to you about my new tire trick. Anybody that has a 3D printer should probably take advantage of this. It's pretty simple and cool, and I want to show you how it works. So have a look at this. Let me try to get the camera set up here. Alright. I want to flip that over so I can see it. Now, everybody knows about the regular old tire foam. This is the typical RTR sort of tire foam, if you will, or whenever you buy a set of tires you get sort of the usual single stage foam. My favorite new thing to do is to take my Beadlock wheel, which has the internal locking ring in it. This is a 5-slot mini mag from GCM. That's actually I turned black because I wanted a murdered out bunch of wheels, so I tried those out for once. They look pretty good. And the Beadlock ring is the typical, aluminum center locking ring. But what ends up happening typically is that this is way smaller than the tire rubber. So you end up with this huge amount of foam. And of course the big performance trick is to use Crawler Innovations foam or something that's two-stage so that you have a harder foam on the inside and a softer foam near the tread. And that gives you a little more compliance with the traction side of the tire, but it gives you a very stiff sidewall so you don't end up with floppy tires. So here's my new foam trick. What I've been doing is actually 3D printing new inner rings. It's actually this. It's this metal part, only the outside, and it's loud, the outside is thicker. So what I'm doing is I'm printing a piece of plastic that actually replaces this ring. It's exactly the same dimensions on the inside. All of this Beadlock feature is the same. It fits on the rim the same. And you can see this here. It fits on the rim exactly the same as the other Beadlock ring. The difference is that I have all of that space from the tire taken up with hard plastic. So now what you end up with is a tire that has most of the tire is actually hard plastic now. So there's what I've got. I've got the 3D printed inner ring and then just this much foam on the outside to give the tread some compliance. And you can see here that I've got the foams the same size as the tires. They're the same width as the tire, and they're the same height as the tire. And so the tire's not going to bulge too much from having the foams be too stiff or have this, it's not going to be pushed out from the foam. It's about the same size. And then what I did here was I took this piece of foam out of the middle of the regular foam. So this would have been the one piece with the Beadlock ring inside, but I've taken this much off the inside and replaced it with the hard plastic. So I want to show you how that works out. So this is basically where we're at with this project right now, is that I've got my last rim left to put together, and these are all done, these three. So what I've actually got is a Pitbull 1.5 growler here, and I want to show you the comparison between the tire with nothing in it. This has no foam, no rim or anything. And I want to compare these two so you can see whether the tires have changed size or shape at all. So here's the two together, and the tires are the same size. The tire hasn't grown really at all by having the foam and everything already in it. The rim and the insert, printed insert, and the little foam on the outside, that's all in there. And the empty tire is basically the same. So that tells me a few different things, okay? The width is also the same. So that tells me a few different things. First of all, it tells me that the tire is not already under stress. It's not being pushed out or pushed up. It's actually the right size. It's the size that the tire wants to be. But what it also tells me is because of the hard plastic insert, even if I try to roll the tire over like side hilling, this is all hard plastic inside, all the way out to here. And then I only have foam in this much of the tire. So there's lots of compliance there for traction and for tread, And because the tire isn't already pushed out, the tire is not under any kind of rubber stress. It's not being pushed or pulled in any direction, and so this is all really easy, very soft, compliant tread. Now, the other trick is that when you put these together, you actually glue the foam onto the insert. So this is attached. You can't get this off anymore, and what that does is it keeps the foam from wandering around on the insert, and that improves your side hilling a lot, because when the tire is pushing sideways on it, it can't slide the insert over back and forth on the insert. So the two pieces are attached, and so because this is locked into the rim all the way up to here, this amount of tread is all that you have for your side hilling control. You've got tons of control from the side hilling, and it also makes the steering totally epic. So I've done this on a couple different trucks. I'll pull over the Blazer here. I've done this on the big Blazer. Okay, so this is the same trick. This is our Mini Mag 10-hole wheel, and it's a 1.5 Dick CPEC Fun Country tire. And on this setup, I printed a plastic ring that goes all the way to here. You can actually see a line there. If I get this right, you can actually see where the line sort of is on the inside of the insert. And then the foam from the Dick CPEC tire is still in there, except it's actually cut back and then glued onto the insert. So there's another setup here that's got exactly the same tech inside the tire. So there's good compliance there. The tire is not pushed out. It hasn't grown or gotten all bulgy and weird. And the profile is still very narrow. So I've encouraged you, any of you guys that are doing beadlock rims, and most of the community in the scale trucking is now using beadlock rims, and if you are, and if you have access to a 3D printer, then I would recommend that you take one of the interlocking rings that you're using and then actually just make it bigger on the outside to whatever the size of your tire would warrant you to do, and then cut down your foam, cut the insert out of your foam so that you have a nice foamy outside ring, and then glue them together so that you get the side hilling control and the steering. And you'll end up with a set of tires that looks like they're not being bulged out in any way. They're just sort of normal stock looking tires that will give you incredible traction and great side hilling and great steering. So try that out. That's my tire tech tip for the day. Hope you guys can make use of some of that information and enjoy your tiny trucking.